Never buy another SD card again. I mean it. If you're shooting Sony camera with a CFexpress Type A slot and still relying on SD cards, you're leaving speed and storage on the table. This new Novachips 400GB CFexpress Type A card gives you way more memory, way faster performance, and it actually costs the same or less as some high-end SD cards. Let me show you why this might be the last memory card that you'll ever need. Today we're diving into the brand new Novachips CFexpress Type A card, and this one caught my attention because it's 400GB for about $140, cheaper than many SD cards, and it gives you the speed advantages of CFexpress. But here's where it gets a little more interesting. It carries a VPG 400 certification, which I'll explain in a second, and it comes with a 3-year warranty. And while Novachips is new to selling under their own name, they've actually been making memory cards for companies like Samsung and Angelbird for over a decade. So they're not just some random startup. So like I said, I know you see all these numbers on the cards and you have no idea what they mean. I mean, come on, they are a little confusing. But this little film cut icon with a 400, it is really important. The VPG rating, which stands for Video Performance Guarantee. A VPG 400 means the card is guaranteed to sustain at least 400 megabytes per second. Compare that to a lot of other CFexpress 4.0 cards on the market. They'll advertise high bursts, but their VPG rating is only like 200, which means in real-world long recordings or burst shootings, the Novachips card literally guarantees the double of the sustained performance as those 200 rated ones. Sony only requires a VPG rating of 200 for most of its demanding video modes, and Novachips doubles that. So while Novachips and other manufacturers do sell cards with a higher write speed, all of Sony's current cameras do not utilize CFexpress 4.0 speeds, and they max out at 800 megabytes per second as far as read goes. So as far as performance in your camera, this card delivers the max that your Sony camera can actually write. So just a few of the specs on this card is, it's a 400GB card. It's priced around $140 currently. It has sustained write speeds up to 800 megabytes per second, and it's a certified VPG 400, like I said earlier. And the cool thing is too, they offer a 3-year warranty on these cards. Not only is it bigger and cheaper, but they actually stand behind their product and give you a decent length warranty coverage period. And that's a huge confidence boost if you're on the fence about trying a brand new brand like Novachips. Here are some on-screen examples of what other manufacturers are currently offering, and you can see how competitive Novachips really is being with their price and storage size. Now keep in mind, the VPG rating is a lot lower on some of these cards as well. A lot of them have a rating of 200 and not 400, even though their read and write speeds might be larger. So instead of spending more money for less storage, Novachips flips the equation. More memory at a higher VPG guarantee, backed with a good warranty, and all that at a lower price. Pricing and specs aside, let's go ahead and test these, and we'll see what the real benchmarks are. There's two ways you're going to be utilizing this speed on your camera, and that is either A, your burst shooting if you're in photo mode, or your video shooting modes, which for the Sony FX2, for example, the only really big benefit for the shooting CFexpress is to get all those higher end Sony codecs. For burst mode, that's a different story. It clears the buffer a lot faster. And let me show you two examples, one on my A7S III and one on my FX2, and both cleared the buffer like super fast. I was impressed. I mean, the FX2, you saw like 1 or 2 images left after firing off like 30, 40, 50 shots and letting go of the burst. It only had like 1 or 2 more shots to like render down and it was ready to go. So that's a really huge benefit, is that clearing that buffer really fast. And keep in mind that Sony, once again, is not utilizing the full speeds that's capable of this card, because it's maxing out at 800. I wanted to show you a prime example of how you really need to make sure you get a good card reader to read your card if you're gonna make all the benefits out of this. So the first one, I actually already have a Gen 1 CFexpress Type A card, the Lexar card, and it came with its own card reader. So I did the test first on this slower old generation card reader, and the tests are kind of interesting. So when I did the Blackmagic test with the Lexar card, the read/write speed, we got 692.9 for read and 707.4 write with the Lexar in its own Lexar card. Now we switch over to the Novachips card and put it in that exact same reader. Remember, the card is supposed to have an 800 sustained read and write speed. However, that is with the right card reader, and you get 781.4 read and 750.5 write. That is a little bit under their 800, but it's really, really close. And you know, it's obviously over that 400 limit that the VBT has. So now let's go ahead and test both of these cards on the Novachips reader, which I do have right here. It's really nice. It also has like a MagSafe thing, and it comes with 2 different cables, so you can have one that's a little bit longer. But I love the fact that they include a little small cable to go into your phone, and you can just MagSafe this to your phone, plug this up to your phone, and you can utilize this with your phone, both transferring, and you could record, you know, ProRes RAW into your iPhones. I think that's pretty cool. Here's a test from the 4.0 card reader from Novachips. So when we put the Lexar card in there, the read and write actually was better, so the card could get a little bit more performance out of it. While it was very minimal, we had a read speed of 783.1 and a write speed of 757.3. I'm telling you, you gotta utilize the right card reader. So just keep that in mind as you're buying these cards too, if you wanna get the full max out of it. The read and write speed of the Nova in its own card reader was 1528.5 read and 1064.9 write. That just shows you how much faster this 4.0 standard is and what it could bring to the future of Sony cameras when we actually start seeing them implemented in those 4.0 speeds in those cameras. However, as of right now, Sony, like I said earlier, only maxes out at 800 megabits per second speeds and the non 4.0 reader. So it just shows us that Novachips is providing more speed than the guaranteed sustained speeds advertised on this card too, because when you have the right reader, it's getting well over that 800 sustained rate, which is great to see. And it also will future-proof you when Sony does decide to implement 4.0 card slots in their newer cameras. That just shows you that you don't need to have super fast CFexpress cards to get really good speeds out of your current Sony cameras, because they do make faster sustained speeds from Novachips does, and this is one of their budget-friendly 4.0 cards, and it still is maxing out the performance of the camera, and you can see that in the real-world usage. It handles the demanding Sony modes, the 4K, high bitrate, and long bursts. It has 400 gigabytes, which is plenty of recording headroom and gives you stuff to swap out. I don't even like using anything smaller than 256 nowadays. I've just been spoiled by some of my cards, and that's the low standard that I purchase currently. And the faster times than SD. You can transfer files to your computer faster for your post-production workflow. So those are the real world, just plain simple English terms. Here's my takeaway. The Novachips 400 CFexpress Type A card is one of the fastest, best value cards you can get for Sony right now. You're gonna get double the storage of most of the competitors, a stronger VBG rating, and a 3-year warranty for less money. Now, combining that with the fact that Novachips has been quietly making memory cards for other OEMs for the last decade, and I think this brand is worth taking seriously. If you've been holding off on CFexpress because of the price, well, this could be the card that finally makes it affordable for you. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your choice. Do you really need to get CFexpress cards? I mean, most people probably could get away with a V60 or a V90 card, but you gotta remember how big these cards are and you gotta compare the prices. So tell me in the comments, would you trust Novachips with your next memory card? Or what card are you guys sticking with? Drop your comments down below, let's talk about it. So like, subscribe, do all the fun YouTube-y things, and you know that I will see you in the future. Let's open up one of these things and see what is in the box. All right. And I gotta tell you, this card just feels premium. They feel like they've been making cards so it's solid. I don't think